And we are live tonight from the Outer Rim in what is another gorgeous night here at the Hall. And guys, we are back with 10 things you need to know about Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes heading into 2020. And I've got 5 good things and 5 bad things. You know, maybe you just saw The Mandalorian. Maybe you watched episode 9. Hopefully it's good. And maybe you played Jedi Fallen Order and thought to yourself, I need a little more Star Wars in my life. Well, guys, stay tuned. Let's go to the list and let's see if this game is worth your time in 2020. Let's hit it, Hall. Okay, we're going to start things off on the negative here, and what I will tell you guys is the first thing you need to know about Galaxy of Heroes is that all the meta is the most efficient tactic available. All the top teams in this game are manufactured to work together, and what I mean by that is you can't cobble different characters from different factions and expect to get a top-tier result. Usually the factions, whether it be clones, Jedi, Sith, Resistance, that sort of thing, they all require more units of the same faction for them to function at their peak performance. So that isn't to say it's not fun. Just know and understand that when you get into this game, that you're going to be expected to farm up characters that you may not like that work to complement an overall faction. So just keep that in mind as you guys dive in. So the next point I wanted to make here, guys, is that free-to-play players absolutely have a place in this game. It used to be a lot more free-to-play friendly. It has since changed over the last couple years, but that isn't to say you cannot compete at being a free-to-play. If you are laser-focused with your resource allocation, making sure you're hitting top raid rewards, top squad arena rewards, top fleet arena rewards, you can certainly put together a roster that can compete in this game. What I will say is, though, you'll have zero room to go farm up things that you actually want to farm up and things that you enjoy as a Star Wars fan. My channel is built entirely around having fun with weird random teams, weird random comps, and characters that are underutilized. So for me, having fun in this game is just the C-tier characters and that sort of thing. But if you want to be laser focused and just focus on what the meta is currently, saving for the next meta, hitting all those payouts, then there is a place for you, albeit a tight place, but you can certainly accomplish those goals. The next point is kind of a negative point here, guys, and please understand that there are 0 catch-up mechanics in this game. So if you have a friend that has been playing since launch and you start playing the game in 2019, 2020, just know that you are basically 4 years behind at that point, and there are very little mechanics in the game to help catapult you kind of back into the endgame content. That is way different than MMOs, where like World of Warcraft has all sorts of catch-up mechanics for people that haven't been playing recently. Don't expect that in this game. They have addressed this in recent Q&As, saying that they want to do things like that, but the development team is so lean on this game that I wouldn't foresee that happening anytime in the immediate future. So just know that you can certainly exist within the same shard, the same galaxy as these other players that have been playing for 4 years, but the types of content you're going to see and the results you're going to see are going to be 2 very different things. Okay, another positive to go over here, guys, is the pricing. And this used to be a massive negative, and depending on what kind of game you're coming from, it still may be a negative because it's probably one of the most expensive free-to-play, pay-to-win type games out there in the mobile space. But just know that pricing has certainly peaked out in this game. It's a 4-year-old game, and a lot of people a lot of old-time players have since moved on, and we've started to see over the last couple months cheaper packs coming out that are high-value packs based on what legacy players have been experiencing over the last 3 to 4 years. I mean specifically these like flash packs that come out very quickly and then they're gone. A one-time purchase. We're starting to see more of that incorporated into this game, thus bringing down the overall pricing to get the same thing you would have gotten a year ago for a much cheaper price. So do know that the pricing is coming down. It's not great by any stretch of the imagination. I mean, if you want a top-tier new character, a marquee character as they're called, you could be spending upwards to $300 or $400 for that character. If you want a hero's journey or an epic confrontation type character, which would require a whole team, you're looking at $700, $800. So just know it is not a cheap game, but pricing has peaked out, and we're starting to see it trickle back just a little bit. The next point I want to make here, guys, it's a negative point, is the development team around this game. They move at a glacial pace, and I'm talking it is bad. It is a Star Wars project, and the fact that EA has allowed Capital Games to remain understaffed around a Star Wars project is just blows my mind. What I will tell you is also on the development front, they supremely lack the ability to test their own content. Just recently, they had a Malak event come out, Darth Malak come out, endgame character, bugged twice out of the gate, all sorts of disappearing buttons and all sorts of other complications going on in the game currently. And I feel like the development team also lacks communication at times. While they have been better recently since they've had a change in leadership to spend more time talking to the community in what they call State of the Galaxy posts, their communication is very uneven. They have access to talk to all the top content creators in this game. They don't exercise the want to do so. So we're giving them an important piece of information we're hearing from our communities, and they are just flat out ignoring us. Also, I feel like a lot of times they don't really have the best interest of the player base in their mind. It's all about the bottom line for these guys. So you often see predatory things that they do, ways of deceiving the player base. Anything that would be a small win for the player, they generally don't give it to them. And it's just kind of silly to me. They used to be way more forgiving, and now that they've had this change in leadership, they really don't throw the players a bone much at all. The next point I want to make, and this is a point very near and dear to my heart, and the main reason why I really love this game. If you love Star Wars, you can be you in this game, and it's unlike any other Star Wars game that I've ever played. And what I mean by that is this game has a huge list of characters. I think we're almost at 200, maybe even over 200 at this point with ships and everything. They have a massive list of characters, a lot of which of those characters have leadership abilities. In this game, if you are a fan of obscure characters, you get a chance to play with those characters and relive the magic all over again. I am a huge Lobot fan. My channel was built around that guy. He has a leadership ability with droids. It is just crazy to me that you can play as Lobot and he can be your main guy, and you can do all sorts of stuff to bump him up and get him to be super competitive and super fun. And you can play the game really the way you want to. Just know, as I mentioned before, doing those things, playing the game the way you want to will come at a cost because that team is not always the best team to run. So you can be totally unique and you can have fun. You can make weird, random things. And what happens if we pull Darth Malak and Darth Revan and Lightside Revan and Basilisk? Like, you can do all sorts of stuff, and it spans all across the entire Legends, along with the expanded universe and the canon material as well. HK's in there, HK-47 from those KOTOR days, so it is a great game for that purpose alone. The next point I want to make here, guys, if you're just joining this game in 2020, is that hoarding is rewarded. This is something we've seen become a massive issue with this game. They just had a General Anakin Skywalker event, which is now considered, at this point, at the end of 2019, the best character in the game with the proper faction around him. It was a massive event which required his starship, it required separatist units, it required just like 15 different required units to get this one character. And what happened was they released the character at 5 stars, which is basically like a middle-of-the-road type of release, and you were then required to have a currency to get the extra 2 stars to make him his maximum power level. Well, they told everybody that they were no longer going to add new characters for that currency, and they ended up putting General Skywalker shards in for that currency after kind of saying they weren't going to do that anymore, and everybody had spent all their currency, and no one had the ability. So even all those people that spent a lot of money to get General Skywalker, they didn't have the currency available to get him all the way to 7 stars, where he actually becomes useful because you can put better mods on him and more gear on him. So that is just something to be considered moving forward, that hoarding is rewarded in this game, and only a select number of players under 500 actually got General Skywalker right out of the gate to 7 stars and maximum viability. Okay, the next point I hear, guys, and it's a very positive point, probably the favorite point I have to make here, maybe second favorite. And what I will say is the community in this game is unmatched. I've played probably over 1,000 games in my entire life. I've been a gamer since I was 5 years old. And I will tell you, the community in this game is top freaking notch. We have the best content creators. We have wonderful people willing to help you. We have Star Wars fans. We have guys that are just fans of tactical, turn-based games. We have guys that just love the math aspect and the theory crafting aspect. We have many types of players in this community, and guys that are just out to have fun. And you'll see a lot of those different types of people and different types of players in my community in general. Big shout out to the Hall. You guys want to come over and have a good time, come on over to my Discord. We have nothing but a party. And the community is top notch. We're providing good feedback. The Reddit is still alive, still going strong 4 years later into a mobile game. Yeah, just have fun with these guys because they're fantastic. Okay, so the last negative point I want to make here is that cheating in this game still exists, and it has existed for 4 years. They've done very little to combat it other than, you tell us and we'll go get these guys. Well, this game has had a ton of controversies around cheating, all the way down to content creators showing people how to cheat with a hacked APK and that sort of thing. They've said they have new tools in place to catch these people, but we've not seen any of those results. I've messaged directly to Capital Games, cheaters that I've seen, that my community has seen, that we've all agreed were cheaters, and they have done nothing to address that. So that still exists, and as far as we know, it's still happening each and every day. And this is what's preventing them from spreading around the crystal income to other game modes like Grand Arena, which is going to be our next topic here. But just know that this is a major problem they have yet to address. Everything is done client-side, then reported back to the server, and that allows people to send back fraudulent information to the server and get away with it. All right, guys, and the final point that I want to make here is that it is a positive point, and Grand Arena is by far unmatched in the gacha space. The type of game this is a gacha game where you're collecting characters, you're leveling them up, and that sort of thing. Grand Arena is the best damn game mode out there. It is the most fun I think I've ever had in gaming. You take your roster, you put it up against someone with a comparable roster, you set a defensive set of teams, and then you have your offensive sets, and you go head-to-head with this guy over a 24-hour period, and whoever has the most efficiency, most wins, gets the win and moves on to the next round. And there's 3 rounds per week, and it goes over the span of a month. Absolutely fantastic game mode. And I would tell you, I would cover other mobile games if they had something like this in their code, in their game, but they just don't. And Galaxy of Heroes is unmatched in this regard. They were wise to put all their ducks into Grand Arena because, man, it has paid off very well for them, and it has made the game a very streamable game, an event-type thing where you can have your community come in and watch you do your Grand Arena, and it's what really took my channel to the next level in terms of content creation. So with that being said, guys, if you're new to the game, welcome. Come on by my hall. It is the hottest damn holotable hall in the Outer Rim. Come in, say hi, join us for a Grand Arena stream, and I guarantee you will have a great time. With that being said, guys, get to your ship safely. I'm issuing the evacuation code signal. Good night from the Outer Rim, Hall.